Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity, and as a animal lover, particularly dog lover, this article just really just describes how amazing they are, and the world that they live in is completely different than what we understand. And before we go into this particular study on dogs being able to sniff out cancer, make sure you like this video, share it with somebody you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel. That being said, I remember there was a couple different instances. There was a dog on K9 to 5 when Animal Planet used to have that. Don't know if they still have it, but it was able to. This beagle was in particular was trained to sniff out skin lesions, and so the reporter had. The dog came in, he laid out in an X, and the dog went to a patch on his leg. And so they went to the dermatologist, had it biopsied, everything was good. They went back, and the dog went right back to the same spot. And he's like, you know what, just forget. So they took an entire chunk out, and it turns out there were a handful of malignant cells in there. We've seen dogs that can sniff out like a culture of C. diff, Clostridium difficile. Like, you know, when a culture forms in a petri dish, it's this small, and they put that in a vial in a field, and the dog can find that. It's something we don't understand. So this was a study out of India. They had 1,502 patients. Of those, 283 had cancer-confirmed biopsies. So they took 7 dogs. These weren't like, they were trained in a short period of time, but these weren't like specialty sniffing dogs or anything. They were just random dogs. And think about how much we could take them out of the pound and get rid of a lot of the cancer screening tests that we have, and save dogs' life and save a lot of money everywhere else. But, you know, that'll never happen. But what happened was the patients breathed into a mask for 10 minutes, and then those were sent to the dogs to be sniffed and identified about whether or not they had cancer. It was relatively it wasn't looking at any specific type of cancer, it was just that they had cancer of any variety of types. I can't remember, I'll put it in the description, but I can't remember specifically what ones they were biopsied for. But the dogs had a 90% accuracy from breathing, from smelling the breath of cancer patients. That's as good as most of the testing that we have out there, and it doesn't save a life in the pound in the process. So it just, again, stunning the world that they live in. We've seen it with seizure detection as well. It's amazing. What was interesting is that these dogs were able to detect it in early stages as well. So it wasn't like some testing we have to have certain testing. Sometimes we have to have enough cellular growth happening. In this case, even in the early stages, the dogs were able to detect it, which is just, again, astounding. And I'm going to bring this up to my dogs who are just lounging around just to have a little conversation about maybe picking up some side money on doing cancer sniffing or something like that. They pay for their treats. As always, I will post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.